Hello my lovelies and welcome back to my channel. Today is day 5 of our Sinclair Violet Sew Along. Today we'll be adding the skirt to the bodice, hemming the sleeves and the bottom, and enjoying our beautiful creations. So from yesterday, remember, we have the skirt gathered. Now I'm going to take the bodice and mark the center front of the bodice with a pin, and then I'm going to mark the center back by bringing the side seams together. And now I'm going to basically insert the bodice into the skirt, right, so they are right sides together. If you have a skirt that you have a preferred front, make sure that the front goes in the front and the back goes in the back. Mine is the same thing, so it doesn't really matter for me. Remember yesterday we marked the center of the bodice with a pin, so we're going to match that center with the main. Then we're going to match the side seams Okay, we'll do a little wiggling, a little arranging in just a second. Let me put the 4 points first. Okay, and now the front. Here is the front. See, remember that pin that I put yesterday in the front? This is my center front with the center front here, and I'm putting a pin in place. So now let me push that bodice inside. So my bodice is inside my skirt. I'm going to make sure that the pockets are towards the front. This is the front of my bodice, as you can see here, the front of the bodice, and this is the pockets. The pockets go towards the front. You don't want the pockets on the back of your skirt, right? So pin those pockets right here. First of all, arrange and make sure that your gathering match the bodice. Mine are almost perfectly matching just from gathering with the serger. So I'm going to pin those in place, the 3 layers. So I have 2 layers on the bodice and 1 layer of gathered skirt. And when I get to the pockets, I'll add 2 more layers. So this is going to be pretty thick. It's going to be 5 layers here. 2 from the pockets, 1 from the skirt that's gathered, and 2 from the bodice. So I'm going to place this right here. So basically the skirt is in between the pocket and the bodice. You don't want the pockets to be gathered, because they would look not so great. So this is the bodice right now. 1/4 of the bodice. Okay, quarter. Let's move on to the other quarter of the front. And again, arrange your gather so they're equal and matching the bodice. I don't have much arranging to do, because I kind of know my tensions for bamboo to get it almost spot on. But that's why you leave a little bit of a thread, so you can wiggle this around. And if you need to pull, you just pull on the needle threads. You just grab your needle threads from here and pull on those 2 if you need to tighten the gather. And same thing, you're going to bring your pocket and lay it on top like so, so the pocket is not gathered. And pin in place. Okay, so now the whole front is pinned. Let's switcheroo and move to the back of the skirt. And I have this quarter here. Again, bring your gathers to match the bodice. This is easy. On the back, it's just one layer of the skirt and one layer of the bodice, and no pocket, so the back is much easier to sew. If you're doing the maxi dress, I would encourage you to add elastic, clear elastic, in the seam. When you stitch this together, like you'll see me do in the next minute or so, if you're doing the maxi dress, because the skirt is very heavy, because it's very long, you don't want it pulling on your bodice. So I encourage you to add elastic in the seam to give it extra strength, some clear elastic. I don't think I have any more clear elastic. I would have to look, but since I'm doing the knee length, I'm not super worried about that. Let me fix the gathers here a little bit. And you can stitch this together using a triple stretch stitch on your sewing machine, or you can use a serger stitch. Just be very cautious when you move from 2 layers to 5 layers and then to 3. Your intensity varies as you stitch on your serger, so give your serger time to adjust its tension if it's adjustable automatically. If not, go very slow and see if you need to adjust between all those layers, because they're definitely different widths. So now that it's all pinned, the waistline, we're gonna go ahead and stitch it together and see how beautiful it looks. Okay, we are at the serger, and I'm going to start from the back of the skirt, and I'm going to stitch this down slowly. Okay, because you want to make sure that you catch all the layers, that you don't break a needle because of the difference in thickness. So go slow. We're not in a rush. This is our last day. We have a few days to catch up. I'll draw the winner for the sew along on Sunday. So we have plenty of time. Approaching the second pocket, which means 2 more layers. And slowly moving towards the back. If you feel like your serger will not appreciate all these layers, definitely go ahead and do this step on the sewing machine. You know your serger better than anyone else. It also depends on how thick is the fabric you've opted to use for the sew along. going to double check that I sew all layers, because it's easy to skip them when you have so many. So I'm just checking here. Oh, that's a beautiful pocket. So far, so good. Yeah, it was worth stitching slowly, so I don't have to seam rip anything. So everything looks done. Beautiful. So we have a dress right now. We actually have a dress. Obviously it needs a good pressing, but there's a skirt and a bodice. So let's start hemming. I'm going to start hemming with the let me move you to the cover stitch, with the sleeves, and I'm going to use the memory hem that I have from 2 days ago, maybe. Remember when I told you to do the memory hem? And then for the length of the skirt, I want to try the dress on. That's the beauty of sewing for yourself. The pattern does recommend a 1-inch hem allowance, but maybe you want it longer, maybe you want it a little bit shorter. Try it on before you hem it and see if where you would like your hem to be. It's a straight skirt, so there's really not much to hemming than personal preference. It's super easy to hem whatever length you want, especially on a skirt like that. That's like straight on the sides. Okay, so using the memory hem that I did before, I'm folding this down. And I am loving this thread. So keep in mind, once you do your pre-order for the Halloween round, or even before then, stop by Wizardry Stitchery Crafts and grab yourself villainous thread, because it works great with this print. And you can use it for your serger or your cover stitch. I am stingy with it, so I just use it for the cover stitch where you can see it, since you can't really see the serger thread inside the dress. I'm just using it in the cover stitch. But I do have this in Tex 80 as well, and Tex 80 I'm using it for bags in my industrial. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, let's hem the other sleeve. So we're going to fold this along the memory hem that we did. Don't have a cover stitch, you can definitely hem it on your sewing machine using a zigzag stitch or twin needles, or just a triple stretch stitch if you don't mind the raw edge. If you want to make it like looking like a faux cover stitch, run a serger stitch right along the raw edge, and then when you fold it and use the twin needle, it will look similar to the cover stitch. So don't let not having a certain type of machine discourage you from sewing. We all, I bet you, we all started with one machine at one point. Actually, my first machine is right there under the TV. You see that little brother right there? That's the first machine that my husband gifted to me 11 years ago, and then it grew from there. But the point is, you have one machine, use that one. Don't let it discourage you from sewing. Oh, I'm gonna make this when I get 5 more machines. You'll get those in time, but for now, use what you have and enjoy it and appreciate it. So these are my sleeves hemmed. I'm gonna go ahead and try the dress on. Press either 1 inch more or less, depending on how you like it, on with my iron. So fold 1 inch more or less and press with the iron, and come back at the cover stitch, and we'll do the last step, which is hemming the bottom. Alright my friends, I went ahead and pressed the memory hem. I have tried it on. For reference, I am 5'5", and for my personal preference to hit right above the knee or around the kneecap, not right below the knee, I would have liked to have a 2-inch hem instead of 1. But again, personal preference. So I went ahead and trimmed 1 inch and hemmed 1 inch instead of doing a 2-inch hem, just for transparency purposes. Again, personal preference. That's what I'm saying. Try it on and see where you like it. So now, after I've pressed my hem, I'm going to go ahead and stitch all around. And this is it. Overlapping about a 1/2 inch, and this is it. So once you finished your hem, go ahead and trim all your threads if you forgot. Take your skirt and your dress and run it through another session of pressing and steaming to get all those side seams nice and crisp, all the hems nice and crisp. And then check in for your final day, day 5 photo comments. That's where I'll be assigning the numbers for the random drawing of our winner. And the winner will get a backstitch gift card, a pattern of choice from Sinclair, and I might give a couple more patterns of choice for other participants. So definitely be sure to check out the Backstitch Backroom group on Facebook. And check in before Sunday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's when I will close the sew along. So you have a couple of days over the weekend to catch up or make more. If you do make more, make sure that you post 1 photo per item you've sewn, so I give you as many entries as items you've sewn this week with us. Thank you so much for joining me. It was once again a great pleasure sewing this with you this week. Thank you for Sinclair. Thank you to Sinclair and to Backstitch Fabric for providing the fabric. And I will talk to you in my next one. Bye!